And here's part 2.
Here we see an illustration of a company in its e-business environment connected to various business partners. Alright, so let's see what's B2B, B2C, intra-organizational. B2B, business to business. We see here a company connected to these suppliers, like our Walmart example. Another type of B2B is where the enterprise is connected to a third party, like here and here, called a VAN, Value Added Network, which in turns connects them to suppliers or customers. B2C, business to customer. We see here these customers connected again to our company, kind of like the Amazon example. Right, so you can think of B2C as the revenue side, B2C, the expenditure side, and then we have intra-organizational, inside the organization. So here we see the parent company connected to its division east, but still within the same corporation. So that's intra-organizational. Here's a flow chart showing us two types of e-business setups from sort of the inside. Here we're talking about real-time point-of-sale systems, POS, very common. Like we have Walmart and Amazon again, are two favorite examples. Walmart, you go into the company, go into the store, pick out your goods, and go up to the terminal and pay for the items through a credit card or cash. And this is all real time. It's going into these various systems, databases, files. General ledger is updated immediately. Cash updated immediately. Inventory, again, sales, everything is kept real time. And as we mentioned with Walmart, its inventories are connected to the various suppliers of those inventories. So you can imagine here, some kind of internet connection to the various suppliers, so they know real time whether or not they need to send in a new order of inventory to keep Walmart in stock. Amazon, kind of the same setup, but there's no actual location of the store. Right, you're sitting here at your computer, on the web, internet. You want to buy a book, goes through the internet into the Amazon server and processors, and then the same thing happens again. Everything here is kept real time. Credit checks done immediately, just like at Walmart. So let's look at some of the challenges to this kind of environment, this e-business environment. First of all, you have an organization interacting with a lot of different parties, as you could see. You have customers, you got businesses, you have the value-added networks, etc., etc. So a lot of diversity. And with this diversity, there's also a lot of diversity within that communication system. There are different document formats being used. We won't go through all of these, but just note, EDI, XML, ANSI, these are all pretty common. It's just ways of the computer language basically formatting the message traffic. Okay. Then we have communication protocols. So the documents are set up, and then as the computers communicate to each other, they have different software protocols that allow them to communicate and to translate the documents back into something readable. Of course, different networks. The internet is the main one, but there are also a lot of private networks. Here I suppose especially noticing the hardware involved. Here with the communication protocol, more on the software side. And then to keep everything safe, hopefully prevent hackers getting in and disrupting normal business transactions. There are all kinds of different security systems, encryption systems, login procedures. So a very complicated environment business has to handle. The traditional approach is to solve this in-house, to have your own IT department deal with all these various issues. A more recent trend in handling these issues is to identify solutions using the internet to improve connectivity and web services, service-oriented architectures, SOA, and XBRL, Extensible Business Reporting Language. So these get rid of a lot of these differences so that the problem is a lot simpler. But another solution within this kind of internet approach is to outsource to a third party to handle all these various requirements. And that's where our value-added networks come in. So they deal with all these differences among communicating parties. So let's start with a conceptual model of an e-business. Let's use Amazon. It's paperless, right? So you're sitting at a computer, you place an order, you don't have to mail anything in, there's no real paper involved. There's no real physical location in the sense of like a Walmart store. You can be at any computer and order. The inventory may be on hand with the store like Amazon, but most likely a lot of that inventory is being kept by other suppliers that are connected to Amazon. So we see, you know, a B2B aspect to this, otherwise kind of a B2C situation. There's minimal personal contact. If everything goes smoothly, it's done just computer to computer. If you have a problem, you can get into a chat room with somebody at Amazon or talk to them on the phone. So we have direct links with customers, with vendors. We notice also this conceptual model is automating our business processes. Again, there are very little personal involvement, manual involvement here. In fact, it's probably changing business so much we should talk about its transformation and not automation. And all of this requires real-time data and information at various levels, as we'll look at. Okay, so we have our concept we want to implement, but we need technologies to implement that concept, to make it work in a business, in the real world. So what are those foundational technologies? One is data entry advances. So on your monitor, it's easy to use. You don't have to be a trained IT person to place an order at Amazon. User-friendly data entry. A lot of advances in databases are required. We need real-time data. An example would be airline tickets. You want to know real-time what seats are available, what planes are full or not full. And this involved a technology change from sequential tapes to direct access disk like we use now. So these are real-time. Tapes are not real-time. Also, you need massive storage capacity at a affordable rate. We're getting rid of paper, remember, so now we've got to store everything digitally. Various advances in data processing. Again, real-time. We need real-time data, but then we need some real-time processing. All kinds of analytical tools are involved. So we have things like real-time inventory at Amazon. You know exactly if a book's in stock. Automatic credit checks. They follow your purchases and then they make these recommendations for you through various analytical tools. And of course, what makes all of this happen is communication. The internet, some kind of communication network. Computers communicating to computers. Online computer systems. Generally referred to as three-tier client-server architecture. 3 tiers are the user software, your monitor and keyboard. Next level is the application software. And then below that, third level of software is database software. And our client-server setup is you as the client, you at your computer station, wherever that is, connecting to Amazon through a server. And we shouldn't forget not all business technology is IT. There's a growing trend in using robotics, but even these robotics also have a strong IT aspect. They are programmable, for example. Okay, so let's finish up by just matching up our conceptual model over here to our technologies we talked about. So we want a business that's paperless. So we got to get rid of paper forms, which means we have to have these data entry devices that allow our customers at various locations to send in their orders without having to fill out a paper form. This has to be stored and processed. We're not storing paper, so we now need large databases. And of course we need a communication network to connect customers, Amazon, Walmart, vendors. Another example, having no inventory on hand. So you need to be able to track your inventory through advances in data entry and data processing. Barcodes are a good example, where these are scanned in automatically into the system to keep track of inventory, so you know when you're getting low, when you need an order. Again, large databases are needed to track the inventory. You have communication systems between vendors, suppliers, and parent companies like Walmart or Amazon with its book suppliers. You also have to have some advances in other business processes like just-in-time delivery, real-time tracking of inventory, so you can tell at real time where any order is between the customer ordering it and when it's delivered back to the customer. And like I said, real time is kind of the foundation. Real-time data, real-time processing. You've got to have data entry that is done when the transaction occurs, so real-time data entry as opposed to batch processing, no delays there. You need communication, real-time communication between suppliers, customers, companies. We talked about example with real-time tracking of an order, of inventory. Okay, we'll stop there. We could go through these others and match them to the technologies, but I think you got the idea. That concludes our introduction to eBiz. Thank you.